Hey, 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 hey. Hey, what up, y'all? Welcome back to another live episode. Y'all, we back with another live episode. Can y'all believe that? We back with another live episode of Kelly J TV. Today, y'all, I'm honored. I've always been honored. Every time he comes on, I'm honored that he comes onto my show. But y'all, we have the king, Mr. Robert, Voice of Scars. He's a motivational speaker for mental health, with epilepsy and mental health. Um, he was actually someone who was a part of a contest that I was actually running it, and it was rock, paper, scissors. And you guys, he won. Well, we got all the way up into the championship. And although we didn't get to take the winning, we were still like we didn't win it. But we were like, what? We got all the way up to the last round, and we lost in the last round. So in the final round, we actually didn't win. However, he still represented Kelly J. Yeah, he represented us very, very well. I just want y'all to know that. And he represented us in a way that I am honored to have him on the show today. I'm honored that he's willing to come on. And so before we get started, y'all, I want to touch on a few things. For those who may be watching, we will be touching on mental health. If any of you guys ever feel triggered or anything, there are so many resources that you can reach out to. I will be making sure that I do put that information in the link below, in the description below. So y'all just make sure that if you guys happen to get any triggers, that y'all just go ahead, hop off. We're not trying to trigger anyone. We're not therapists. We're not doctors. We are people who have dealt with mental health. And what we speak on is our journey in our life. So I did want to go ahead and disclose that in the beginning, for anyone who may be triggered or whatnot. And I send my apologies now. But without further ado, you guys, I would like to have Mr. Robert. King Robert, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Quinn?
Good, good, good. Thank you for coming on again.
Thanks for having me.
Again. Thank you for coming on again. So, for the people, why don't you go ahead and just start with who you are and your journey?
Absolutely, absolutely. So my name is Robert Kirksey. I go by Voice of Scars. My journey is it's been a lot, but I've had epilepsy since I was 2 years old. So I went through a lot of different things when it comes to that. And the quick story behind Voice of Scars is that when I was 12, they gave me a medication called Lamictal. They gave me too much for my age and weight, so it caused me to break out in a bunch of blisters. Started on my tongue and went all over my body from there. And yeah, I was that kid at the age of 12, the kid with all the scars all over his face. So that's where Voice of Scars came from. And that's also what inspired me to speak to people with epilepsy and or mental disabilities.
Okay. Now, I heard you say being the kid with scars.
Mhm.
How did that impact you at such a young age to have to walk around? Was it something easy for you to explain to people? Um, did you what steps did you take? Were you sheltered from, like, did your family shelter you during that time?
So I wasn't sheltered.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, I wasn't sheltered because I feel like if I was, I wouldn't have grew. But it was a lot. It was tough to deal with that because especially hard when you don't to answer your question. I didn't know how to explain it at all. So that made it even harder because that forced me to just kind of shell myself to the point where not only did I believe some of the things people would say about me, but I didn't want to defend myself. Like I didn't want to defend myself. I almost felt like was weird. I almost felt like I deserved the punishment, and I don't know why I felt like that because I did nothing to deserve it, but
Mm.
at the same time, I didn't really know how to explain it, so therefore, I didn't know how to defend myself when people would talk about me.
Okay. Okay. So now I do know you told me you had something that you wanted to read to us. Do you want to read it now? Would you like to read it close to the end?
Um, I'd rather close to the end just to
Okay.
keep people watching.
Keep you okay. Well, listen, we're gonna keep. I like to say, reeling them in, reeling them in.
For sure.
I'll tell you that in a heartbeat. So, tell me currently, what are you working on now? What are you doing? What is Voice of Scars doing? What are you seeing with that alone? Just what are you currently working on?
So right now I'm currently working on videos. Honestly, I'm a videographer and photographer, so I got a few videos to edit.
Mhm.
As far as with Voice of Scars, I'm still currently working on just building it. As far as I want to build my name, and then I'm going to build my as far as my whole brand. I still got to get my website and stuff up. So I'm still in the very beginning stages with Voice of Scars. So as far as that, the main work I'm doing is hosting rooms on Clubhouse. I don't know if everyone knows about that or not, but that's where we met.
Yeah.
Hosting rooms on Clubhouse about mental health and epilepsy every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern time. And then, to stem from that, I just pick up. There's a few different rooms I'm doing. There's a room that I just did yesterday for the first time called Spotlight Fundraiser. So,
Mhm.
where I just want to put the spotlight, there's so many rooms on Clubhouse where it's like bless a king or bless a queen, and I mean, that's cool and everything, but I feel like it's not really personal enough. And when you go into that room, you're kind of bombarded with the thought of you have to pay somebody instead of like, oh, I get to bless this person. So when it comes to the spotlighted good spotlight fundraiser, I don't know why I'm playing. When it comes to the spotlight fundraiser, I just wanted it to be for specific people at the moment. I just wanted I only picked three people. I'm gonna pick three different people every single time, but I picked three entrepreneurs and we just pour love into them. We just show them that compassion and that we really care. Cause I feel like when it's a whole room of people doing the same thing, there's no care, there's no love, there's nothing to say. This person actually sent me this money because he cares about me. But with the spotlight, you're getting this money because they care about you. Because
Mhm.
when it comes to the way I did the room is I had the people, the entrepreneurs that I was spotlighting, explain themselves, tell us what their business is about, tell us how it came about, what their life was like, just little things about them that really make people pull people's heartstrings, really make people not only understand you but want to help you. So that's what I did yesterday for the first time, and that was pretty successful. A lot of people came through. We didn't raise as much money as we wanted to, but that's all good. It wasn't
Yeah.
wasn't all about the money. It was more about the notoriety. So I'm happy that we did it. And then we also do this is the last room, but we also do a room called Let's Talk Scars, Kings and Queens. I
Mhm.
do that every Saturday. I usually do it around 3 p.m. Whatever time. But I feel like that room, out of all the rooms I do, besides the epilepsy one, is the most important because actually even over the epilepsy one, because the epilepsy one is important, but
Mhm.
that's still a niche. One thing about the Saturday room, Let's Talk Scars, Kings and Queens, is we all have scars, whether we like to acknowledge them or not. So
Mhm.
I feel like that is a bigger and broader way for me to get in touch with those people and help those people that may not be suffering with epilepsy or mental health, but are still suffering.
Mhm.
So I love that room. I love all the rooms I do, but that one is very, very special.
Well, listen, I try to get into all of them. I always get my pings, and normally I'm either in a meeting, on a phone call. I'm trying to take like a 10-minute nap, cause when do I ever sleep? I'm always working,
Word.
so it'd be like when I get it, I'll be like. I like one time you sent it like earlier today. You
Uh-huh.
sent it to me. I got in, and the plan was to stay. Like
Heard,
I had the phone set up. Got a call. I
heard
was like, I cannot win for
it's
losing
it's all
at this point. I was just like, you know something, we're gonna do better.
right.
Because
It's all good.
I will say in the beginning with Clubhouse,
Mm-hmm.
it was really bad. Like really, people would call and I would decline their
Yeah, I've done
club.
that a few times.
Clubhouse had us declining people calls,
Yeah.
and it's because of the fact number one, I think it was getting a chance to talk to people. All of like for me, I love to talk, so I
Mm-hmm.
love a chance to get to meet people. Whether you're in my industry, you're not in my industry, I love to actually get to meet people, and they don't necessarily have to be in Dallas.
Right.
I've been in Dallas my whole life, literally my whole life. So it's like to get to talk to someone who stays in Georgia or someone who lives in North Carolina or New York or
Pittsburgh.
you
Yeah,
know
shout it out real quick. I had to shout it out real quick.
which one?
Pittsburgh.
Of course, yes,
Had
Pittsburgh.
to shout it out.
Of course, Pittsburgh. We'll let Pittsburgh make it right now. But no, just to be able to talk to people all over and you're doing it through an app,
Uh-huh.
I thought that was something that was creative.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and when it's done properly, like the first room I found out about was Industry Connect. Industry Connect, listen, you be sitting in Industry Connect for hours before you get to talk. I would go to sleep, wake up,
And still
and
not
it's
me.
still
Yeah, I've done that a few times. Definitely.
and then when it's your turn, you literally have 30 seconds. And
Mm-hmm.
you gotta make it quick, make your point, or you're going back to the dirt. And they didn't mind that. Although it was kind of funny when people went. But anyway. But no, okay, so you have all of this, and then I know we have spoke on you doing CBD. Could
Yeah.
you explain more about that? Because I think so many people, when it comes to smoking in general,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I'm gonna go ahead and say this now. I am a smoker.
Mm-hmm.
I smoke every day. It keeps me insane. It
Mm-hmm.
keeps my anxiety intact.
Keeps you
It
sane.
keeps
You said insane.
well,
Keeps
yeah,
you
it keeps me sane, not insane.
sane. Don't put the wrong
No,
pick
like I mean, like it keeps me in my place. Like it
for
keeps
sure.
me
Absolutely.
sane. Let me say it.
Absolutely.
Let me look. Thank you for it. Keeps me sane, not insane,
Absolutely.
but it keeps me in my peace.
Yeah.
And what took place? I ended up going to Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to Colorado, I ended up getting to go to the medical health center.
Nice.
And I got a chance to like read, like actually
Mm-hmm.
sit there, because you know you got to wait till it's your turn. So I'm
Right.
sitting there and I'm reading all of these different meanings behind what the strands are, the hybrids, the sativas, the indicas,
Right.
really taking the time out to learn it. And
Mm-hmm.
then I get to the back and the lady's like, well, what's going on? What are you interested in? Because I'm like, it's my first time here. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, I just tell a person what I'm looking for and they just give me whatever. I don't have a menu
Mm-hmm.
laid out, you know? And when she got to talking, the strand I got was called Crescenda. Crescenda is a strand of indica. And listen, if I could have married Crescenda, why I listen, if Crescenda had been a person, I would have married Crescenda that day
Heard that.
because Crescenda had the same amount of CBD
Mm-hmm.
as it did THC.
Oh, wow. So it was a healing. It was healing.
Ooh, listen,
That's the
I and that's when I really learned more about like my back. So I have
Mhm.
back issues,
Okay.
but that's when I really learned about them because the lady, I told her, hey, I don't really, I mean, like for me, it ain't all about the high. The high is cool, you know. That's the
Mhm.
THC part, of course, and that's cool. But once that's down, I still need to make sure my body
No,
feels good.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so I told her that, and she was like, "Well, here, you know, go with this one." And she picked it out, and she let me pick the names, and I just like the way Crescenda sounded, so I picked it.
Mhm.
But when I took it, you know, when I inhaled it, partake in it. I don't
Hmm.
really know what you can say on YouTube, but when I partake it,
You're right. You're right. Yeah, I don't know. I was about to say what you say, but then I thought about, oh, she may be doing that for a reason. So,
yeah. So when I partake it in it, uh, I notice immediately, like immediately I start like, of course, everybody coughs.
mhm,
That's instantly, but it was a different kind of cough. Like normally when you cough, you feel it like in your rib cage.
mhm.
No, I could feel in my back. It was like a pinched nerve,
Going
and
away.
yes,
Wow.
and I was just like, and I told the people I was sitting, I was like, yo, what is this? Because right after that, like, and I promise you, I had that same partake it
Uh-huh.
um, for 2 days. Like
Right.
I didn't finish it the
Right.
first night. Like as soon as I partake it,
Right.
it was like knockout time. It's time to go to sleep. That's how strong it was. But I learned that it was the CBD within it
Uh-huh.
that provided that feeling
That
that
heal.
I needed. Yeah, the healing feeling. So to know that you're doing something within CBD, I
Mhm.
would like for you to speak more on that.
Absolutely.
Because even now, when I do partake it, I'm actually partaking in CBD
Yeah. Right.
rather than THC. Now, every now and then, I may partake it with a little bit mixture of both.
Right.
However, I prefer the CBD because I know that as someone who deals with fibromyalgia and back pain and
Hmm.
all of that, I see the benefits of it.
For sure.
And because I see the benefits of it, it's kind of like just, so what is your take within CBD? That's
Um.
just mine. And then what is your take?
For sure.
And there we go.
So I love CBD, honestly, because I'm a smoker as well. But one thing about me is I'm a stoner now. I would say that, but I wasn't. Oh man, I wasn't supposed to say any of that. I just thought about the fact that you were trying to do that for a reason, and it's just. I'm sorry, I wasn't supposed to say any of that. But that's the reality. That's the reality, and yeah, it's
Listen, Kelly J TV, I already told them it's not for kids. Listen, parents, if your kids are able to access Kelly J TV, I want you to personally know it's because you did not have
parental.
your parental that had nothing to do with me. I told YouTube and YouTube
Hey,
told me that you have it set for no kids. That's all.
hey,
We all adults here. Now on
absolutely.
Monday, I'll make it for kids because Monday I have a show with a kid. So
Nice.
Monday show will be with a kid. Tune in on Monday if you're kids, but get off of this if you're kids.
Nice, but yeah, so it started out that way. I mean, it didn't start out. I'm sorry, wrong. It didn't start out that way. Now it's that way, but it started out as a healing. I had epilepsy. Like I said, I mean, I don't know if I said that yet.
Mm,
I've had epilepsy since I was 2, so it was a massive, massive struggle uh dealing with that. And my seizures were so bad that they would happen like every day. I would have at least one seizure every day. So it was back to back. And as a kid, you can't really function when you're
mhm.
having that many seizures because kids, they're busy. They do a lot. They have a lot of fun and they do a lot. And I didn't, that was stolen from me as a kid because
Mhm.
of epilepsy. So growing up with that being my reality, it was just very grim and I hated. One thing about me, it may be because I'm an Aries, but I
Mm.
always hated depending on somebody. I've always hated it. I've always
That
hated.
must be a Leo thing too, because I'm not with that.
Yeah, I've always hated that. So with that being said, it was a real struggle. Not only physically when it comes to epilepsy, but mentally because now mentally I'm like I don't want to depend on anybody. But then the other side of me is like, you're gonna have a seizure. You need to depend on this person. So it's like, it's real mixed. But yeah, that's how it started. It just started out as my family caring, honestly, because I never thought about smoking
Mm.
at that age. Like I never thought about picking. I didn't even want to smoke. I wasn't even interested in it. But my sister was the one that that introduced me to weed, and she didn't introduce it in the way of smoke this to get high.
Mhm.
She was very careful of not making introducing it in that way. So
Mhm.
she introduced it as a way to help me with my seizures.
Mhm.
And I believed her because my sister she also suffered with epilepsy,
Mhm.
and she had seizures. I think she got hers when she was like 10. Like she started having seizures when she was like 10, maybe a little earlier, but I'm not sure. But she had seizures too, and hers was going away. And I knew her. I seen that she wasn't having seizures. My sister would have a seizure like every twice a year,
Mhm.
whereas I'm having seizures every day. So it was a big difference. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. I mean, it was against my will at first. I ain't gonna lie. It wasn't really, but it was just like I had this really that stigma, the stigma that nowadays everyone, people are getting over it, but you're still the older generation that has that stigma, and that stigma is what was in my head at first, and that's why I didn't really want to do it, but I trusted my sister enough to do it, and I realized that how much it really, really helps. And even today, I mean, even more today, I realize how much it helps because just for instance, just to give you a little story of how CBD and THC can help.
Mhm.
But I'm supposed to be not smoking for 5 days so I can do this interview with UPMC and pass the piss test. I've been drinking the cleans drink, all that, but I was struggling. Yesterday. Yesterday was the second day. The first day, I'm not gonna lie, I did not smoke at all. But yesterday, I did it. I actually went the whole day, but until the end of the night. And I smoked a roach. It was just a roach, but I also took the CBD though. I took the CBD before I smoked, and I was honestly impatient. I waited like 5 minutes before I'm like, okay, I can't do this
I don't
anymore.
know.
I need it. But if I would have waited a little longer, truthfully, it would have worked because it worked. I mean, after I smoked, I realized that headache went away. And one thing about epilepsy that a lot of people don't talk about or know is that even when you're not having a seizure, your brain is still moving
Mhm.
fast, fast. And the reason you have seizures is because overactive brain cells, um, overactivity of the electroneurons and stuff like that. But as someone with epilepsy and not just seizures, because you can have seizures without having epilepsy. So as someone with epilepsy, it's almost like constant. And even when you're not having a seizure, and I've been luckily, I've been like, let me find some wood to knock on. Yeah, I've been like 5 years seizure free now. So
Praise God.
praise God. Right, right. And that's such a blessing, but it's only because one, I realized what my triggers were, which is
Mhm.
stress and headaches, and two, I was smoking. Like, so just to be honest with you, I did have a breakthrough seizure in between that. Like, so that 5 years, I've been smoking for more than that, but
Mhm.
I had a breakthrough seizure in between that. And the craziness is that day I didn't smoke. So it
Mhm.
really gave me a sign. And to fast forward real quick, because I kind of got off track. But even now, like I said, I tried to not do it the other day, and I got a headache, and it just was. I kind of gave up early, but truthfully, CBD can help a lot. And I just opened the online CBD store where we're selling a lot of this stuff, and my goal is to not only go this 5 days, but to continue it, to just give myself some time because what I realized with CBD, and I might actually look into what you said as far as mixing it. But when it comes to CBD, our bodies already have natural cannabinoids. That's what they
Mhm.
tell us. They don't let us know that our bodies already have cannabis in it.
Mhm.
It's already a part of us. So with CBD, it just brings all those natural elements out, and it helps your body in the most natural way. Just so everyone knows, there's no side effects to CBD.
at
No
all.
matter what you use, what product you use, there's no side effects to CBD. So I think a lot of people look at CBD as a additional medication, and I get that completely because I hate medications.
Mm-hmm.
I went through so much with medications, and none of them really worked. I still
Mm-hmm.
have seizures just as bad as I did before I took them. So with that being said, I get that completely because I can't stand medication. But at the same time, um, I want to just let people know that it's not the same. It's nothing like the medications. And the big difference is with those medications, they may have some natural things in them, but they're not natural. They were made in
Mm-hmm.
the lab. And with CBD, even though they put it in the pill, they do things to it, but it's not made in the lab. That's
Right.
natural. It's all plant
And
based.
I think that's what
So,
a lot of people get mixed
hmm
up
hmm
with a lot of it. Um, just like you know how you were speaking on you saying that you didn't have a, as long as you were smoking, you were good. However, that one day you had your epilepsy.
hmm
And I look at that as being a mental patient, or, well, not a mental patient, someone who has a mental health condition.
I like how you
Uh,
fix that. I like how you fix that.
but with someone who has a mental health condition, what I've learned is that's what I've taken with smoking.
hmm
When I was taking medication, I would sleep a lot. I didn't get a lot of things done. I
hmm
was angry. It didn't take much for me to flip.
Right.
None of that. Like it, and my doctors continuously had to change my
Yep.
medication because my body adapted to it so quickly. So it's like I would go back and I'd be like, doctor, like of course, they always ask, the random how you feeling,
hmm
what you're going through, stuff like that. And I'm sitting there and I'm telling them like, uh I popped off on somebody today.
hmm
I'm ready to hurt. Like I'm having to tell them this, and
Right.
they're like, okay, the medication isn't working. It was doing good, now it's not.
Uh,
So what I started doing, that's how I actually started partaking. Well, forget
hmm
it. That's how I started smoking.
hmm
Was I got tired of continuously changing my medication. I
Right.
got tired of not being able to feel free.
Right.
I got tired of sleeping a lot,
hmm
and I started smoking. And at first, it was like here and there.
hmm
In the beginning, that's all it was, here and there. And it was just like, okay, I see how this makes me feel. It's like, oh, I got through the day and I didn't pop off on nobody.
hmm
And I know when I'm stressed, I know, okay, maybe where I'm maybe only smoking maybe 2 or 3 times a day. Now I need to jump it up to maybe 3 to 4, four to
Right.
five, or
Right.
whatever it's going to take
No.
for
Right.
me to calm down, because during that moment,
hmm
I'm having what if I was on medication would be called a not a tantrum, but a break, like you
A
said, a
panic
break.
attack?
You know what I'm saying? You're having a breakdown at that moment. So it's like I'm having to sit here and explain why I'm having a breakdown to you.
Mhm.
But it's the same thing if I'm smoking
Right.
and you make me mad and I pop off on you.
Uh-huh.
And I have been able to really move around more. I've been more focused more. My
hmm
thoughts have completely slowed down.
hmm
Whereas normally my mind is going on 1,000, like treadmill, like a rat on treadmill, And it's like now I'm just calm, cool.
Elected.
I'm good. I don't have anything to worry about.
hmm
And I really do like that. So for me, it's like when it comes to smoking marijuana or partaking in CBD or
hmm
whatever the case may be. And the reason, let me tell you this, when I mix them,
hmm Oh no! What happened to the audio? Audio. I
are
didn't
you,
hear.
can you
Yeah,
hear me?
for a moment. I hear you now.
Okay, perfect. One sec, I have someone calling me. So sorry. So sorry.
Oh, good.
But no, but when you're dealing in mental health, I really wish people would understand when it comes to smoking, it helps. It's
Right.
not a negative thing. It helps. It keeps your mind, and it do keep you from popping off on people.
Yeah.
Like, and I will forever tell people my trip to Colorado, because I don't ever get out. I
Uh-huh.
don't. I've been to Florida and I've been to Colorado. Now I go to Oklahoma all the time because it's like right next door.
Right.
But as far as anything else, I'm Dallas. So me going to Colorado, learning what I learned, not just learning, but actually seeing. I ain't gonna lie, that whole
Mhm.
state, they high,
Right.
they high.
Right.
Cause everybody was nice. You walk high, everybody was minding their business. People was letting people over in traffic.
Heard
We
that.
don't do that.
The whole state heard that.
I just felt like the whole state was hot. Everybody was just
Thing is though, the there's the big stigma on it. But the funny thing is these doctors that act
mhm.
like they don't know and they're shocked that it does this, they knew the whole time. That's the crazy
Yes,
part. The crazy
yes.
part about it is they literally just want to make the money from these medications. And
Mhm,
sad thing is, I realized I figured out this through my experience with all the different medications, is they will knowingly give you something that doesn't agree with you so that you can come back, so that you can continue to come back and be a patient, which to me is just sick. Like you're gonna play with my life just so I will come back. So that is one of the biggest reasons that I love CBD, and I love THC too. It's just because truth is they know that this helps. I just wanted to show you this little thing right here. This is what I was just telling you about. Oh, didn't mean to do that. This is what I was just telling you about though, the tincture. So this helps me focus, and this also helps my headaches. It helps my headaches a lot. So I've been taking this. I took this the other day. Actually, I took it earlier too.
mhm.
It just helps me with my clarity. Also, right after I took it, I mean, I don't know if it's related, but right after I took it though, I went to the gym. I wanted to go to the gym and work out. So it's like it's just such a big difference. And with me, unfortunately, I'm still dependent on THC to a certain degree. So
Mhm,
my goal with CBD is to allow myself to not
mhm,
do any
mhm,
THC at all. So that's the long term goal. But at the end of the day, that might take a minute. I might have to. And another thing about CBD, I'll just say this real quick, is this is 1,000 milligrams right here, right?
mhm,
But with CBD, and which is not the case with medications because it's very, very dangerous, you can up your dose without being afraid that you're going to overdose, because CBD, if you overdose, it literally flushes out of your system. That's all that happens. You're not if you take too much, it just flushes out of your system.
Same
And
thing with THC.
right, that's all it does. So at the end of the day, there's nothing to lose. And when you feel that way, and you feel like there's times where there's a lot of people I know who take medications, typical medications, and they'll take one, they'll take the prescribed dosage, and they'll just be like, "Ah, it's not working, bro. I might have to take another one." And in my head, I'm like, "Oh no, don't do it. Don't do it." Because I know what medications can do. And I know just a quick thing about how why I'm so being so animated and serious about this at the same time is my friend overdosed on medications, and it was an epilepsy medication, and he didn't even have epilepsy. He literally just did it, just because it was the thing to do, I guess, to take pills sometimes. But man, it really hurted me from the second I knew that he was doing it to the moment he passed away. It hurt it every second, and to the point where I stopped chilling with him because he was doing those things. And I knew um that it was how dangerous it was. I even warned them about it multiple times, but like I knew how dangerous it was to take so many pills. And CBD is a savior because it's not dangerous. You're not gonna overdose. You're not gonna hurt yourself by taking more than you need. But at the end of the day, you're able to decide how much you need. You're able to really do what we always do and judge your own body. Because I feel like a lot of times with doctors, not to discredit doctors, they're smart and everything, but a lot of times they'll dose you the same way they dose the next guy. So, a lot of times they don't personalize the dosage or personalize the medication you take. So it's just like, all right, so this could affect me any type of way where it may not affect him, and you're basing what I'm gonna go through with this medication off what he went through. So like that's another thing that I like about it is just you don't have to hope that they know what they're talking about.
Right. You
Because
just know.
right. You know that you're doing something and it's gonna help you without hurting you. And when you go to the hospital, it's sad to say because I've been in the hospital so many times, but there's always that doubt in your head of do they know what they're talking about? And
Definitely.
that's what everybody
Definitely. And I don't feel
like
like it matters
right.
what you go. When you go,
Uh-huh.
it's like, do you even know? And even like with my doctor, in the beginning, he was like, no, no, no smoking, no, 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 no. It was always no.
Mm-hmm.
Then he started seeing me because at first I was asking him, "Hey, you think you could like help me get some medical and to help my back, help my mental?" Because this was shortly after my trip. I came back. I was ready,
Mm-hmm.
and he was just like, "No, go with it." And then of course I was saying at the time I was seeing my doctor like every month or so,
Mm-hmm.
due to medical stuff that was going on at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so he started seeing about my third month visit. He was like, there's something different in you. What's going on? And I was like, I've been smoking. And that's exactly how I said it. I was like, Doc, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I've been smoking. And he was like, I'm not gonna say I'm for it. He said, but if that's what's making you have a better attitude, but like everything, the moment I increased it from like here and there
Mm-hmm.
to like making sure like I was incorporating it into like my daily routine,
Right.
the moment I started incorporating it into my daily routine as if I was taking my regular medication,
Mm-hmm.
it was like
Night and day.
big difference.
Yeah.
Big difference. I used to tell people all the time, it felt like I was sleeping
Mm-hmm.
through my life. Like I could not focus. And the moment I started incorporating it into my everyday routine,
Mm-hmm.
it was like, oh my God, I'm awake. I
Right.
can I feel like I'm actually accomplishing things. I'm finishing things. And it's like, I've listen, I've never overdosed off of it. And I
Right.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've never, matter of fact, I am now, what month? We're now in 21.
Mm-hmm.
It's been since 2019 since the last time I tried to commit suicide. And it's been since 2018 since the last time I was in the hospital behind suicide.
Amazing.
So, as you can see, 2018, 2019 is when I kind of really just started
Mm-hmm.
picking it up. But prior to that, I was in the hospital like almost every week, every other week, or every month at least.
Wow.
And some people knew, some people did know. A lot of people did not know.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like to see where I am now. And even like when I go on my Facebook page, and Facebook will make you remember.
Oh yeah.
If they don't do nothing else, you're going to remember with Facebook, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm like scrolling on my memories, and I'm like, I used to really be going through. And
Mhm.
then it's like now I'm looking back and I'm like, all it took was a little hemp
Yes.
and
Yes.
a little fire,
And
and it
it's
made magic.
crazy. So it's even more powerful than we're giving it credit for at the moment
Right.
because sure it helps us with the medical, right? With the medical side of it.
Mhm.
But another way it helps me is with the creative side of it. As far as a creative, also an Aries, also with epilepsy,
Yes.
my mind is insane. I mean, the things that happen up there rapidly,
Yes.
it's hard to control sometimes. So what CBD and THC does is it helps me control my mind because I don't know why, but
Mm-hmm.
if I don't smoke or don't take THC, best believe I'm everywhere. I'm doing different things, not finishing one of them, but just doing them, just going through the motions. And
Just to say you did it.
yeah,
Just.
and honestly, it's not even just that. It's just my brain wants it. So I get it. So I go
Mm-hmm.
through it. And it's been, I mean, whoo, my family look at me like I'm crazy sometimes because I just be doing so much in my head. And I realize a lot doesn't get done when so much is going on in your head. So
Mm-hmm.
THC and CBD. CBD more than THC because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes THC it does help me slow my brain down, but sometimes it slows it down a little too much. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
when I inhale
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
that's the word consume. When I consume though, it just makes me lazy sometimes. It just
Yeah.
makes me want to sit down and chill. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the complete opposite of the type of person I am. I'm the type of person that like to get up and go. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Quarantine has also put a damper on that. Like, sit the hell down.
Yes, quarantine really. Cause see, for me,
Quarantine
I'm a
says
Leo, and
down.
I'm a go. I'm always on the go. And
Right.
when I tell you quarantine, whoo, when they put Texas on lockdown,
Hmm.
well, I was an essential worker because I had people I had to pick up,
Okay.
so I was considered essential.
Nice.
Now, I'm not gonna lie. I did enjoy picking up people during that time just because of the fact wasn't nobody out
Hmm.
at all. I could get everywhere in
Right.
like
Quick.
20 minutes, 30 minutes tops.
Right.
Now, an hour. It takes me an hour
Heard that.
over it. When I say that the smoking has gone up,
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
traffic in
It's funny
Texas.
is as sucky as this whole thing has been, right?
Yeah.
Um, it's weird because it made us all confront ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
As it kind of gave us nowhere to go but in the
Mm-hmm.
mirror. So we had
Mm-hmm.
to look closer. And for a lot of people, unfortunately, that broke them down. A lot of people didn't like the fact that they had to deal with themselves so much.
Mm-hmm.
So there's those people out there who literally depend on other people's opinions more than their
Mm-hmm.
own. So when they got alone, they were confronted with somebody they didn't want to meet.
Who they didn't even recognize.
Right. They didn't even recognize. So
Mm-hmm.
one thing, like a hidden blessing that quarantine did for everybody, but truthfully and specifically for, I feel like for Black people, because even though it's an epilepsy thing for your brain to run, I also realize it's a Black man thing. Black men, we tend to think about a lot at the same time, and it's weird, but we do that sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that, but that's a Black man thing, and maybe it's the pineal glands. But that's a Black man thing. We overthink sometimes, and we sometimes our thoughts are going 10 miles an hour. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm sorry, I just completely lost track.
So look, you just gave me a question to ask with it though.
Go ahead.
So being a black man,
Uh,
do you think that it's a stronger stigma with being a black man with mental health with epilepsy as well?
oh,
Um
absolutely.
okay, and how does that stigma affect you today or has affected you over the years of you having it?
So today, I would say it doesn't really affect me because I feel like I've built up a strength to where I'm more than okay with who I am and
Mhm.
what the hand that I've been dealt with. Because truthfully, stuff like this, like interviews, um, doing stuff with Voice of Scars, it's crazy. But man, it's almost like God was like, about time. about time. And it's weird because at the same time as God saying about time, the world's saying, "What the hell are you doing? Where you been all day? Like, what are you doing? You're not doing what you're." So the world sees it as me not doing what I'm supposed to be doing,
Yeah.
and going off course because I'm a videographer and photographer. I got stuff that I haven't finished
Mm-hmm.
in that realm, but God is telling me I'm doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
God is constantly reminding me through my rooms, through people telling me how they feel after my rooms, through people genuinely opening up to me with stories that they would never told me if I didn't tell mine. So I started to see the difference, the shift that it made when I just decided to tell my story, because that's where it started. It didn't start as me wanting to be a motivational speaker. It started with me just wanting to tell my story because I got so tired of holding it in and only dealing it with my family or people who were really close to me. Because I knew, I feel like for a long time I felt isolated as far as I felt like I was alone. My sister wasn't having seizures anymore. That's a great thing,
Yeah.
but in my head I was just like, I feel alone. Like nobody
Mm-hmm.
I know really has seizures, and then I start meeting people with seizures. Actually, my little cousin, she was diagnosed with epilepsy, so it's just little connections start being made, and then a blessing came in my life called Clubhouse, and I was able to connect with the whole world. I was no longer that even think that I was alone. I couldn't even pretend that I was alone because now there's a whole world of people who are telling me they experience the same thing. So
Mm-hmm.
it just feels so amazing, but conflicting to now walk in my purpose and do things that really make me feel alive. I mean, talking to people with epilepsy or mental disabilities and making them feel just a little better about themselves
Mm-hmm.
truly makes me feel good. Like, so it's weird because I'm in a weird spot where the world doesn't feel good about what I'm doing. But you know what I mean? Where the people who are looking at me outside looking in don't feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't have my license yet. I got my permit, but I don't have my license. I'm still living with my parents. Um, I don't have a job. I'm just doing videography and photography.
That's a whole job. What you mean? You got a business.
Right, right, right. But unfortunately, the world don't see it like that. They see
Mm.
me as right now, they see me as kinda being lazy, and I hate to say that, but at the
To
end
me,
of the
you're not being late. You're right on time. You
right.
know, we can talk on God because I heard you mention it.
Mhm,
But in the Bible, it does not say the Bible, but I grew up knowing that everything happens at God's appointed time.
mhm,
And it's to hear you speak and say, like how just for you to have gotten your rooms that you've gotten in on Clubhouse,
mhm.
like I've even thought about doing that myself, but then it's like, who gonna relate to me?
No, I get
But
it.
hearing you say that and how you've gotten, it's like, I hop back on Clubhouse and
Yeah.
really, because I like we all have a story
Uh-huh.
and someone needs to hear it. Someone needs sometimes we don't never know what telling our story does for
Will do.
someone.
Right, right. The
And the moment that we share, hey, I was hurt, hey, I was battered, hey, I deal with this, hey, I go through that,
Mhm.
that opens, it's like it opens up a whole portal to
Right.
a world of people that are like, I
I
went
get
through this too. Like I just be
right.
like, hey, and then it be some of the people you would never think.
Yeah.
And you're kind of just like, you
Mhm,
really?
mhm.
Why? And
Right.
so it's like, and let me say this also, congratulations
Thank you.
on your sister not having her
Right.
season. I'm so happy to hear that.
Mhm.
you know that's great for both of you guys, where both of you guys have gotten on you guys' journey. I'm very proud of both of y'all.
You know what's
uh,
so amazing about what my sister's position?
mm.
Um, she has 2 sons now, and
Oh wow.
to this day, neither one of them know. that their mom had a seizure. To this day, I don't even think
That's
nephew knows that she had epilepsy. I feel like that's so amazing because my oldest nephew is 7 now, so
mhm,
7 years, and he doesn't. I mean, she hasn't had him for longer than that, but
yeah.
I just think it's so amazing that she has 2 kids now that no longer know that
Mhm,
that I knew that was suffering with epilepsy. I think
yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah. That's not just amazing. That is a blessing
Mhm,
in itself because I think with kids that as a parent I could only imagine having to have epilepsy and having to explain to your children
mhm,
what's going on and having to put not necessarily put that type of responsibility because a lot of kids who I've gotten a chance to meet who have parents with epilepsy
mhm,
or they may deal with like a sibling who has epilepsy, they feel as though they want to help,
right.
so it's like not having to feel as though it's just a burden. You oftentimes parents oftentimes say, "Oh, I don't want to be a burden on you" and stuff like that. And
Mhm,
it's like you're not being a burden. It's just how we as children feel.
right.
So that listen, that's a blessing in
Mhm,
itself. Going 7 strong plus years and many, many more. And
right.
watch, you're gonna be having some kids soon, and your kids won't ever know. And when you have your kids, you're gonna come back on the Kelly. No.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I ain't
No,
opposed to it. It's just, right now,
you
right.
listen. You gonna be walking out there in the streets, and that fine little tenderoni, she gonna walk up on you and be like, yo, Lamont.
No, for sure. And then I'm talking to somebody right now, but I don't know. It's just right now, I ain't gonna lie. Right now, a lot of my time is going to bettering myself. And like I said, like it's so crazy because when you feel like you're bettering yourself and you're getting better in yourself,
Mhm,
a lot of people don't see it. So it's almost like invisible. So
mhm,
the outside world, like I said, they don't see the inner growth. They don't see how much you're changing until
mhm.
it's already done. And
Yeah.
when I'm talking about somebody as close as my parents, they now don't get me wrong, they're super supportive. They love and appreciate me. But at the same time, just a quick example, my mom's on me about getting my license ASAP. She's like, "What are you doing? Get this job." Just the little things that are so traditional,
Mhm,
and I'm not worried about them right now. I mean, I'm worried about them, but at the
mhm.
same time, like I said, I'm just gonna bring God into it one more time. He's been speaking to me, and he's telling me I'm doing the right thing, even when it feels like I'm not. Because sometimes
Yeah.
it feels like I'm not gonna lie, but he just keeps reminding me through things like small text messages that say, "Wow, I really loved and enjoyed your room, and I will absolutely be back." That makes me feel good because
Mhm,
all I'm doing is truthfully telling you what I went through. I mean, I'm doing a little more than that now in days. Like now my rooms are much more educational. Like I actually explain to people what epilepsy is, how you can help yourself from stopping having seizures. Like I actually give them information now, but it's all started with just me just expressing myself and telling my story. Just a quick I'm gonna just tell you a quick thing, a quick frustration for me before I started all this that really pushed it over the edge and made me and forced me to start Voice of Scars. So a year ago, I went through the court system to see if I could get something for all the stuff I've been through. They overdosed me. No telling how many years were taken from my childhood because I had to deal with this. So we went to court. We took it to court. We got the trial, or we didn't get the trial. I'm sorry. I thought it was the trial, but it wasn't. It was the pre-trial. So we bared our heart. Because I feel like with all that, right? this all happened when I was 12. So I'm 25 now. With all that in the courtroom, we literally had to relive the situation. They showed us the pictures, we had to relive the situation. We had to talk about it to them. And man, walking out of there and the next day finding out they didn't. I mean, it's not that they didn't care, but in my head, that's what it said. When they didn't give me the trial, it was like, we don't even care, bro. We don't
Mhm.
at all. And I even felt like that when I was in the courtroom because a lot of the things the doctor was saying, the doc, not my doctor, well, yeah, my doctor, but on the other side, like he wasn't with me, but a lot of things he was saying was like almost like blaming my parents, which really pissed me off because of course they're not to blame. And at the end of the day, you don't even know what you just did by blaming them because there may have been a point where they blamed themselves. There may have been that point. So for you to just be so I mean, he's a doctor and it was in a courtroom, but I felt like for you to just be so nonchalant and not care about how they feel about you blaming them is really really messed up. So we went through all that, and after that I just was filled with a lot of anger and disappointment. And I didn't really know who to tell, who wasn't feeling the same or would understand. Because the people I would normally tell, my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, but they know already. So, it- and other than that, I wasn't comfortable with telling anybody else. But it was a point where I was just like, I can't hold this no more. I can't stop. I can't not tell people what's going on because it was just it was an inner demon. I feel like it was just that inner feeling of you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, like, and that's the real feeling. Like right now I got that small feeling like, oh, you're not doing everything you're supposed to be doing. But man, when I left that courtroom and they told me that nothing was coming out of this, and we realized we're not going to get to trial, so much anger was filled. And after that anger just came the feeling of not enoughness. Truthfully, it was just the feeling of, okay, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. I got to do something different. So that's where the motivational speaking came in, and that's what drove me to start making the videos and get myself out there, because I started to realize no one's going to care as much as me. So no one cares until I truly truly care. So it took for me to really care to get my story out there for others to care, because truthfully, if no one knows your story, they're not going to ask. So so I had to get myself out there, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm a natural introvert. So it was kind of tough at first to just put myself out there. The first video I ever did, it hit me to before I even did it. And the reason it did is because it was so real. The first video I did, I don't know if you got the chance to see it, but I had a bunch of fake blood all over my face, and I was reenacting what I looked like at the age of 12. And the truth is that video is so raw and you feel the emotion because I felt it so powerfully. Like when I was making that video, it was almost like I forced myself to step back into where I was. It was almost like I was forcing myself to confront that Rob that I didn't like. I did not like that Rob. And I just had to deal with him. I had to deal with him because I had to realize it wasn't my fault. It wasn't something that I did. It wasn't that God was mad at me. It was something out of my control. So with that being said, I had to just kind of just shut that guy that was scared and nervous of what people would say and think. I had to just shut him up and just do it. And like it was almost like I closed my eyes and jump off the bridge because it was like I was so nervous at first. Like I was so scared of what the backlash would be. But it feels so good now, and I'm so happy that I finally took that jump because now I truly know what I'm put on this earth for. And that's powerful to say at the age of 25. And I mean, I'm not young as hell, but I'm young though. At the age of 25, to be able to say that I finally feel like I'm stepping in my purpose, not just my passion, because the crazy thing is my passion is filmmaking. I love that stuff. I love videography. I love that stuff. But God didn't love it for me, if that makes sense. God already chose the plan he had for me. He chose my purpose before I even came into the world. So I had to shut up for a second. I had to force myself to just shut up. Just stop. Stop. You think you know what you need. You think you know what you're supposed to do, but you're getting this feeling when you go into these rooms and you talk to people, or when you make these videos, that you've never felt before. You're getting this feeling of, it's weird, and I don't want to say it like I'm God or nothing, but it's almost like a godly feeling when you're just bearing your soul and somebody is not only picking it up and understanding it, but they're literally taking that and helping themselves do better. Like that blows my mind every time someone steps in my room and they say they had epilepsy, and they let me know how my room helped them out, even in
Yeah.
the smallest way, even if it just means I know some people other than myself now that has epilepsy. Even in the smallest way, it feels so good to be able to say, my pain was worth it. And I could finally say that. And for so long, I didn't feel like it was worth it. I felt like it was, like, I don't know why I feel so much pain. I don't know why I've been through so much, but I finally feel like it was all worth it. And I finally can just give the glory to God and say he knew what he was talking about. He knew what he was doing. He put me through all that, because even though it all hurt, I'm creating a king now. I'm creating
Mm,
a living, breathing king out of myself. And I couldn't do that hiding from what he put me through. I couldn't do that. I couldn't manifest the king that I'm becoming today if I continue to hide from my truths and what I
mhm,
went through. And for so long, that was the case. For so long, I was hiding from what
mhm.
I went through. I was not telling people. I was not expressing it. But man, it's crazy. It was like a lid popped off my mouth because the second I decided to just say it to somebody. You know what the funniest part is? The first stranger that heard this story was an Uber driver. Driver, and it was so weird
Us Uber
because
drivers, we got that power to bring it on up out of you
for
and get
sure.
you. Cause all it takes is a ride. Like when you, it's the trips that's like 15 minutes or more,
Uh-huh.
where you really gotta like either have headphones on or be ready to talk.
It was a long trip too. I don't even remember where I was going, but it was a pretty long trip. I'm gonna say it was like a 30-minute trip. It was a pretty long trip. And this dude just talked to me. He just talked to me. He was telling me what he went through. And I don't even know what made me decide I needed to tell him. But I told him all of it. I told him everything I went through. And after that Uber ride, I'm just like, well, one, we're still connected. Like, I still have his number. I don't hit him all the time, but I still have that Uber driver's number.
Yeah.
I just let you know, like, I walked out of that car feeling so amazing.
Mm,
I walked out of that car and I wasn't sure why at first. I'm like he was cool, but he wasn't that interesting. Why
yeah.
do I feel so good right now? And then I just realized, like, it was because I finally told it. I finally told somebody other than my family who lived through it with me, my story, and I told it without being afraid that, oh my God, they're gonna judge me. Oh my God, they're gonna laugh at me. Like, I just told it unapologetically, and from that moment, it just Voice of Scars was born. I refused to just be silent anymore. So I'm so glad that all that happened, but You can ask a question now. I feel like I'm talking too much.
Oh no 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 no! You're not talking too much at all. If the comments pop up on the screen, because I do see we're having viewers come in, so
Uh-huh.
y'all, if y'all would like comment, they actually do pop up on the screen. For those of you who are wanting to know, yes, Lippies, it is the guy on Clubhouse with the red spots. That's look. You see how you getting on the guy on Clubhouse with the red? Yes, guys, this is him.
Oh, I didn't even see that. I'm seeing it
Yeah,
now with the blood spot.
yeah. She
Yeah,
says
yeah,
that the guy with the red spots, blood on his face on Clubhouse. So
yeah,
yes, this
yeah.
is actually him, Mister Voice of Scars. I like to call him King Robert. He calls me
Ooh, say
Queen
it,
Kelly.
say
He
it.
calls me Queen Kelly. I call him King Robert. You
For
know
sure,
what it
for
is.
sure.
So look, without further ado, why don't you go ahead, read us your poem?
Absolutely.
Let us know. Let us know what you're coming with. We want to hear it.
Just a little bit about the poem before I read it. I do
Okay.
want everyone to know that this is just I thought of this just one random day, but this is uh almost like a visual. It's not visual, but it's almost like a visual of how it feels to have epilepsy and to have seizures. So it's called When the Brain Attacks. So let's get it. All right. When the brain attacks, what are you going to do about that? It's not like you can attack back. You'll just be attacking yourself, and nobody wants that. When the brain attacks, it's like a mental smack that you can't stop. You see it coming in slow motion. But once the pain hits, it's like you feel like a small boat in a windy ocean going through the motion, shaking uncontrollably as a waterfall comes from your mouth. There's no stopping the motions when the brain attacks. When the brain attacks, it comes hard, so you better be ready to fight back. After the brain attacks, you'll feel like you ran 10 miles on a track when you haven't even ran a lap. After the brain attacks, you'll forget your whole day and not even think to bring it back. It really sucks when the brain attacks. And epilepsy taught me that. Appreciate you, Queen.
Yo, listen. I was backstage. I was like, yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna take that whole little clip.
Uh-huh.
It's gonna be swarming. I'll definitely send it to you.
Heard that.
Cause I'll definitely will be sending it to you. But that listen,
Absolutely.
that so where did look, we got comments. Look at that. Yes, it was fire, wasn't it?
Thank you.
Wasn't it fire that listen. So look, are you gonna be writing more? Are you gonna
I
give
am.
yourself
Yeah, yeah. So one thing about me, I'm a script writer, so I'm just a natural writer. I
mm,
am going to be writing more poems. Honestly, I never really looked at myself as a poet, but
okay?
I can't lie. I can't really deny that I got some skills when it comes to writing these words. So
You do. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to you. You do. You spin some bars right
for
there.
sure, for sure. But I just writing is one of those things, man. Like I said before, my brain goes so fast sometimes. Writing is one of those things that just slows it down, you know.
Mm,
I haven't actually sat down and wrote for a while before that. So, that's a while as like a long break in
yeah.
between writing, and then I came back to it, and that's what came out of it. But I definitely love writing because I mean, you have no choice but to just put your brain out there. That's what it is. That's what writing is. You're putting your brain out there. And
Hmm.
a lot of times I think, especially with society, with all the things that we're seeing and all the things we're hearing, a lot of times we forget to put our own brains out there. A lot of times we feel more comfortable putting other people's thoughts out there, agreeing with other people and not putting our own brains out there. So
Hmm.
writing just forces you to put your own brain out there. It
It
forces
does.
you to kind of confront your thoughts. So I love writing and not like that. It doesn't let you hide what's on your mind. You just got to come out with it and put it all on paper. So writing really really helps me with my mental state a lot because a lot of the things I don't want to say,
Hmm.
I write. So, so
Yeah, I've
it,
been writing for a very long time, so I get it. I do get it. Well, I just want to thank you for coming on to Kelly J TV. I do want you to continuous, continue to follow up with me.
for
Let
sure.
me know what you're working on. Definitely need the link for the
A-
CBD so
Absolutely,
that we're gonna have to talk on it because listen, ain't nothing wrong with CBD and THC.
for sure.
We're listed. Well, what you doing for 420?
For 420, you know where I'm going. I'm gonna have the job by then, so you know where I'm
Oh well,
going.
yeah, it'll
If
be
I
in the
got
vet.
a UPMC job, they ain't getting me. Not at 420.
Listen, I really want to have a Kelly J TV show special
Okay.
on 420. Trying to determine how we're gonna do it, location wise, but really want to do something special for all my smokers out there. Let us all get
Yeah,
together, where it's virtual or in person. Let's do
absolutely.
something, and
Absolutely.
let's have a virtual show where we actually sit, we talk about some real stuff. I would love to sit and talk on some real stuff because, like you said, smoking, it
Mhm.
doesn't just help with the physical and the mental.
Mhm.
You really do get some creative stuff when you're a little lifted.
Yeah,
Trust me, I done came up with a lot of great thoughts. Little lifted. And I also came up with some great concept of things
for
to
sure.
wonder
The
about.
sad thing is, though,
What?
those thoughts, right? Those are amazing and creative thoughts. You better write them down because you'll write them
Yeah,
down when it's
you
over.
won't forget.
It's over. It doesn't even matter what you thought of when you. So it definitely, it definitely takes you there. But
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it
Once
does.
it's
Like
over,
I had, listen, you talking about write it down? I've done that. I had an edible. My friend, she actually made homemade edibles,
yeah.
and we had brownies. My mom was like on create. I sat down and I did a full business plan
Okay.
that night. Like I and she was like, "You still up?" Yes, I'm still sitting there. Right? She told me, "What is it?" My business plan,
That's
girl. And I mean that's really how it is,
that's amazing.
So yes, but you guys, without further ado, I am truly honored to have had Mr. Voice of Scars on. Make sure y'all follow him on social media. Y'all do see his IG below. It's just
Appreciate
right here
you. Appreciate you.
on the screen.
Nah, I see
And
you're already doing it, but definitely follow me on Clubhouse as well. I
yes,
love these rooms.
please make sure y'all, if y'all are on Clubhouse, make sure y'all are following him when he has his rooms. Make sure y'all jump into the rooms and participate. I have been in a few of his rooms so far. As long as I'm not getting a call, I'm able to stay.
Mhm.
But I have really enjoyed myself. You get a chance to really meet a lot of people who are going through, whether it's epilepsy or mental health or anything, regardless.
Mhm.
And they're coming into these rooms and they're willing to really just talk and say, "Hey, I'm not okay." And it is okay to say you're not okay. It's okay to say, "I'm hurt. I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling this.
Mhm.
I'm done." We
Yeah.
we all have those moments, and it's okay to say that. The point is never to give up and always be willing to talk to someone when you are getting to those points, because it is so very much so important that in your journey through mental health or whatever you're going through in life, that you do try to build a support system. And it may not be the support system that you think you should have, but it's what God created for you, or what your higher power has created for you to have, in order for you to really be successful on your journey, so that you can find your purpose, like Mr. Robert here has found his, and like I have found mine, and we're steady. And I don't think you find your purpose, and your purpose continues to grow
Mhm.
as you are walking in your purpose. So I am truly honored to have been
Thank you.
appointed in God to be in his path as he goes through his journey. I'm honored that he has came on to Kelly J TV. We are looking forward to seeing what you have
Yeah,
coming up.
I
Thank you once again.
appreciate
And y'all, this is a wrap. Y'all already know this is it. We done finished another show. Y'all already know your girl Kelly J. When she come through, she coming through with tea for you. So make sure y'all come back. We got a show on Monday with Lippies. So y'all be sure to tune in. Showtime is at 7 o'clock. Don't be late. Beat me here. Don't meet me here, y'all.